An Easter Surprise. Written by bakugou-tm. On Tumblr. Soft snoring was the only sound echoing through Bakugou Katsuki's dorm room on a quiet Easter morning. This was his third Easter at UA, and one of his happier ones since he got to spend it with you, rather than his annoying family. The ash blonde cuddled up against what he thought would be you, until he realized you weren't that soft and plushy. With an annoyed groan, he opened his eyes to see a pillow wrapped in the place of where you would be sleeping, causing him to scowl. Had you run back to your dorm again because you were afraid Aizawa would catch the both of you? Sitting up, his crimson eyes scanned the room to make sure you weren't hiding anywhere before realizing he was alone, swinging his legs over the bed.
One of these days I'm just going to slap their butt right in front of Aizawa, so I can see that cute flustered face of theirs. Huh.
Bakugou thought to himself as he checked his phone to see what time it was, before placing his foot down only to let out a loud yelp. A sharp piece of plastic dug into his foot, causing him to jump up from bed, shouting his usual stream of curse words before he noticed the colourful plastic to be an Easter egg.
What the hell does that idiot think they're doing?
Bakugou muttered in his groggy morning voice as he bent down to pick up the now broken egg to see his favourite spicy candy inside, along with a note. Number 1. Good morning, baby. I hope you slept well. I cannot wait to see you soon if you can get to the end of this scavenger hunt. First, head to the place where you love to bake. The ash blonde scowled at your stupid pun, throwing the paper on his bed before shuffling to his closet to grab a shirt. While he thought the idea was annoying, there was no way he would back down from a challenge like this. Pulling up a pair of grey sweatpants, he popped the candy in his mouth and headed to the dorm kitchen. Once arriving, he noticed the steaming tea and his favourite pastry sitting on the counter, with a tulip and egg on the side. Noticing the few classmates in the kitchen look at him with wide grins, he scowled, shoving the pastry in his mouth before popping open the next egg. Number 2. Hope you enjoyed your breakfast, Blasty boy. Now, here's a clue you shouldn't ignore. Meet where we first kissed at the locker room doors.
How the hell do they remember this stuff?
Bakugou mumbled as he sipped at his tea, even though deep down inside he would never forget your first kiss. The way your soft lips danced against his own, it was a moment he could never forget. Grabbing the tulip and cup of tea, he stormed off to the locker rooms, ignoring the oohs and ahs of his classmates when they saw his blushing face. Luckily, since it was the weekend, few students and teachers were around, giving him a clear path to the locker rooms. Bakugou looked around the front door before entering, wondering if you really went inside the boys' locker room, but once finding the next colourful egg inside his locker, he groaned, realising you did. His annoyed feelings quickly fled his mind once he saw a black hoodie hanging in his locker above the egg. Snatching it, he looked at it to see his initials on the left side of the hoodie before flipping it to the back to see Lord Explosion Murder written on the back like a sports hoodie. A smirk swiped across his face as he slipped the hoodie on, admiring its soft feeling before opening the next egg to find the next clue. Number 3. Like the new jacket? I figured you needed one after I took most of yours. Probably going to take this one too. Though I must admit, your locker smells like a pit. Go to your dresser to find a new refresher. Bakugou let out a quiet chuckle at your teasing before narrowing his eyes towards the end of your message. His locker didn't smell bad. In fact, he hated the boys' locker room just because of how bad it smelled. Scowling, the boy shoved his hands in the pockets of his new hoodie and headed back to the dorms, stomping all the way up to his own dorm room as he swung the door open. Part of him was hoping that you would be here so he could hold you tight for all the kind things you did for him. But he let out a defeated grunt when he noticed his room still as empty as it was when he left it. Heading to his dresser, he opened all of the drawers until he reached the lowest one to find another Easter egg, along with a glass bottle of cologne laying next to it. The ash blonde opened the cap and sniffed it, his eyes widening in surprise at how good it smelled before popping open the next egg to find the next clue. Number 4. In all honesty, you don't smell that bad, babe. But I need an excuse for you to wear this new scent. Spray some of this on before you go on. Next clue for you to pursue. Head to the girls' dorm, and I'll let you know when you get warm. Bakugou raised an eyebrow to this clue. It never gave an actual place to go, but he figured he would understand once he headed to the girls' dorms. Spraying a bit of the cologne along his neck and wrists, he set down the glass bottle on his dresser before leaving the room. The ash blonde had to admit this was a pretty clever idea. It wasn't even his birthday, but you were giving him all of these things. He made a mental note to spoil you on the next holiday that came up. The passing girls that giggled obnoxiously around him made him raise an eyebrow, almost scaring him into what clue was going to be next. As he continued walking, he noticed an egg-shaped paper taped to the wall. Narrowing his eyes, he read the cursive letters that spelled warmer. Tilting his head, he assumed that meant he was getting close, making sure to check every corner before he turned it. Once he reached the living room, he looked to the couch to see another egg and a pair of bunny ears next to it.
What the hell does this mean?
He muttered, picking up the egg to read the next clue. You followed my orders. Such a smart boy. Now put on the bunny ears and all your questions will seem clear. Bakugou looked down to the pair of bunny ears, dreading the thought of having to put them on his head. But if it meant getting to you sooner, he knew he had to. Reluctantly, he put the pair of ears on his head, his ash blonde hair popping out around it. Looking around, he raised an eyebrow. What was supposed to happen now? It wasn't until a flash came to his eyes and a clicking sound came to his ears when he came to realization. The ash blonde rubbed his eyes from the flash before seeing Kirishima standing in front of him with a Polaroid camera, the picture of him with bunny ears already printed and in the redhead's fingertips.
You better fucking hand that over, spiky hair, or you're dead!
Bakugou growled, but the redhead was already halfway down the hall with the picture, causing Bakugou to dart after him. Was this your plan the whole time? To embarrass him in front of everyone? Not if he could help it. He had to get that picture from Kirishima before it was too late. Once he rounded the corner, all he saw was the door to your dorm slamming to a close, causing him to sprint to the door and bang against it wildly.
You better give that fucking picture back or I'll kill you!
Bakugou shouted, fists furiously punching against the door.
Don't make me blow this fucking door down! I'll do it, you asshole!
All he heard was a sound of hushed whispers and your giggling until it went silent. The silence scared him. His palms began to spark up, ready to blow the door down as he had threatened, until Kirishima opened it up a sliver and slipped out, winking to his fuming friend.
Don't have too much fun, Buck, bro.
He muttered before running down the hallway. Bakugou stood in confusion until he remembered he still didn't have the picture of him yet. Pushing aside the confusion, he kicked open the door, ready to burn whoever he needed to get that damn picture.
You better hand it over before I fucking blow your ass up.
The ash blonde's words froze as he saw you laying on your stomach, legs crossed behind you, in the most elegant piece of lingerie he had ever seen. He remembered recommending it to you, but he never imagined in a million years to see it on you. The colors went all too well with your skin, along with the white-laced bunny ears you held in your hair.
Oh, are you looking for this pretty boy?
You purred to him in a smooth tone, waving the picture in your hands. He slammed the door shut before him and slowly walked over to you as if in some sort of trance. A grin danced across your lips at the reaction he was giving. Everything was going according to plan.
If you want it, you're going to have to pry it from my pretty little fingers.
You purred again, crawling up on your knees so your fingers could wrap around the strings of his hoodie to bring him closer to you. Bakugou snatched the picture from your hand with a smirk, the picture slowly burning away until it was ash on the floor. Fluttering your eyes up to his own crimson ones, you ghosted your lips up his neck, allowing a few soft kisses against his pale skin before letting them linger against his ear, your warm breath sending chills down his spine.
Well, are you going to hop on it and get your prize?
You whispered, your cool fingers already traveling under his hoodie and up his toned chest. The ash blonde felt as if he was dreaming, the tightness in his pants growing uncomfortable. He needed to do something about it, and he definitely needed to put that cute laced butt of yours in its place.
Everything I can't think of.